My next guest will be facing Eric Spicely at CES 67 in the main event for the middleweight title. And of course, it is Justin Sumter on the show. Justin, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. And it's been a while since we have spoken last. Very happy to have you back. Always great talking to you. Tell me, what is new in your life since we've talked last? I know you've had a couple of fights. Any new updates you can give me?
Just enjoying the dad life and enjoying my new house and stuff like that. I wouldn't say recovering from COVID, but getting back to normal from COVID. That's what I'm kind of super excited about. But just the usual training and working hard.
What is that dad life like? Is it kind of giving you more of like a balance and more of a routine in your day-to-day world?
Yeah, definitely the routine is, you got to stick to it, especially with a 3-year-old and they don't want to stick to the routine. So, it kind of forces me to kind of implement a little bit harder to make sure that everything happens the way it's supposed to.
I just got married and my wife wants kids like right now. So tell me, what is your sleep schedule like? Has that been affected at all?
At the beginning, it's a little, I would say trying, just because, like the coming back from the hospital, the baby's like, what do I want to do? Do I want to cry? Do I want to sleep? So they're not sure. But once you kind of get that routine going, things kind of fall in order and it's less taxing as people make it seem. A lot of people say, hey, but we did have our baby was a kind of a good sleeper, so we really didn't have a big issue. But definitely in the beginning, getting the sleep schedule right is key.
Yeah, that's what I'm most worried about, man. So I hope whenever that time comes, I get a baby similar to yours, or they're a good sleeper, because I'm a giant baby when I don't get my sleep. Yeah, let's talk about.
Me too.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's talk about, your career. You're coming off a round 1 RNC win at CES 64. How important was that, not just to get a win and get back in the win column, but to finish a tough opponent and to do it quickly?
It felt good. Just, you never want to lose one back to back. And that was kind of my MO through the camp. I was like, hey, man, I know how good I am and I know what I can do in the cage. And I just got to go out there, be confident in myself and show the world what I can do. And, the significance of this win was kind of massive because 2 weeks before I was in the hospital in the emergency room for about a week, had this really bad skin infection, really didn't know. They didn't figure it out till probably the 4th day I was there, what was actually going on. I had this big mass on my shoulder. They were able to figure it out. And then, as soon as I got discharged from the hospital, I was back on the mat within like 2 hours. Being out and being in that state, just to come back with a nice win, a nice quick win was a real big kind of feather in my cap to let myself know that I have it in me, and then definitely let the world see that I'm still there. I'm still at the top of the heap.
What exactly was the skin disorder? Did they diagnose it?
Yeah, it was basically it was a skin infection. So I had like a small cut like on my arm, and it just somehow kind of got up to my one of my, not my lymph nodes, it's like something else right there where it filters everything, and then it just swelled up, and I thought it was like a pinch in my neck, and I didn't really pay any mind. But then like after like the 3rd day, it just doubled in size, and I was like, something's up. And I called we went to the emergency room, and the doctor was like, good thing you came, because that could have been life-threatening if I let it go on a little bit longer.
No kidding. Wow, that's pretty scary. That must have been alarming for you and your family to hear that.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I remember it was like the day I went to the hospital, I was wasn't feeling all right, but then it just became like massively painful. Like it kind of doubled in size in like within hours, where I couldn't really lift my head up really, and yeah, it got scary quick.
Wow. You imagine maybe you got it just from rolling around on the mat?
Yeah, like I've scratches from the cage. Some people, don't cut the nail scratches. So I had a whole bunch of scratches, and, possibly just, by chance, it just happened to hit on the right spot, and that just shot through my blood, and it just happened like that.
Damn, that's scary. Well, glad that you went there when you did and you got that all rectified and back to 100%. As far as that win at CES 64 over Albert, you talked a little bit about that. Did you feel more pressure going into that one, coming off those couple of L's?
Yeah, a little bit, especially because it's in my hometown, and I knew a lot of people there. A lot of people came to see me, and so I definitely wanted to prove to myself. But I would say I was the most calmest going into that fight that I've ever been. It was kind of, you kind of get jitters and like some nerves when you go out there to fight. And I would say, that was I really didn't feel any nerves. I felt like, hey, this is where I belong. This is my place. This is what I need to do and what I have to do. And, I just went in there and performed, and it kind of showed how comfortable I was in the cage.
Yeah, well, congrats on the win there, man. The last time that I did speak to you, it was prior to your Bellator 254 loss to Romero Cotton. What's the takeaway from that one? Is there anything that you can point towards that maybe you're going to grow from, from that fight?
I just think I was a little too overconfident in my ground, where I wasn't respecting his ability. And you can tell in the choke, I kind of just left my neck up, because I was like, I'm in a position I can get up, and he kind of snatched it up, and just don't underestimate your opponent. You go in there with the mindset that your opponent is as deadly as you, and maybe a little bit deadlier, and you just need to go in there and prove why you belong in there, and put them away. So that's kind of my mindset going forward, is regardless of experience or skill level, you got to go in there with that expectation that he's got the same attributes as you, and you just have to go in there and dominate him and impose your will.
You talk about your mindset moving forward. What are your goals long-term moving forward? Because I know you were right on the doorstep twice of getting into the UFC Fight at Contender Series twice, and came up short to two tough opponents. Do you feel like you're just going to have to go like on a streak and rack together some wins to get back into the UFC's thoughts to maybe get signed? Or are you even thinking about that right now? Like, where is your mindset as far as your goals here moving forward?
My first goal definitely is get this title fight and get this belt. But secondly, it's just put a good streak together. Show that they were looking at me for a reason, and show that skill is still there, that I'm ever improving, and my game has changed drastically since that point. And because I would say that I know they probably have an eye still on me. I'm still on the radar. I'm not like gone. And that they, all I have to do is just continue what I was doing before, is just show that I have the skill, and I have the ability to put on a good show and get some dominant wins. So, that's kind of my mindset, is just keep training hard, keep putting the pedal to the metal, and my actions and my the results will speak for themselves.
How old are you now?
32.
Okay, so you're still a young guy. You're actually coming right into your prime years, as far as I feel like MMA fighting goes. I feel like you're 33 to the 36 is kind of like the prime years for a lot of people. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like your best is still ahead of you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm ever improving, and I don't. People like to say, hey, when you get older, your things aren't going to work. But, I'm treating my body right. I'm doing the right things. And, it's just going to show, the more and more experience I get, that I am like a fine wine. The older I get, the better it is,
40 is the new 30, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
The older that we get, you find one. Look at Tom Brady, right? That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
So speaking of that aging process, they talk about it gets harder with the weight cuts. Is that still very, I don't want to say easy, but it's still doable for you to make 185 on a short notice?
Yeah, yeah, like, um, especially like if I would say if I'm eating right. If I'm eating right and I'm doing the right things, it's kind of like a no brainer. Like I can get down. Like I was just 218 2 weeks ago, and now I'm 200, and I'm walking around 200 hydrated. So it's just once I have that my regiment eating in, it kind of I'm a Southern boy, so and I like to eat. I like to eat a lot, but once I get my routine, it's like clockwork. It kind of everyone jokes like when it's time for me to cut weight, I just think about it and I lose the weight. So that hasn't really slowed down at all, and it's kind of getting easier because I'm doing different things and I'm learning about my body because I've been cutting weight since I've been in high school, and so from that time period now I'm kind of learning new things and developing and changing it so it makes it a little bit more easier process.
So when you get down from like 218 to 200, like where you're at right now, like what is it specifically that you have to stay dialed in and disciplined to do? Is it just like your diet? Is it getting in the gym? Is it both? Like what are you doing to really make those huge gains to get lower in the lower weight like that?
Makes the most significant thing I do is basically changing my eating. So I'll usually, like when I'm not training for a fight, I still work hard in the gym, but my eating is I'll eat like a big breakfast, a big lunch, and a decent sized dinner. But when I'm in my training and I'm training for a fight, I kind of break my meals down to small meals. Like I eat 5 times a day, nothing bigger than my hand. Those are like my meals, and just training harder and eating that, drinking a lot of water. I drink about like almost a little bit over a gallon a day, and that kind of keeps my body flush, and it just allows the weight to kind of melt off.
Have you ever tried intermittent fasting? I know a lot of fighters swear
Yeah,
by it.
yeah. So like, typically what I do is I'll eat my last meal around 6 o'clock, then I'll go train, and then I won't have my next meal until 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So that's kind of the time frame when I don't eat. I'm still training. I'm still doing. I do a fasted cardio session around like 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes, depending on the level of the workout at night, I might sneak in a protein shake after my cardio and workout in the morning. But typically, I'll just wait till 10 o'clock to eat my first meal and go from there.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like you're right, dialed in, doing the right things all the time, man. And you're still rep by Tyson and Top Game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What is it like? What does it mean to you to have someone as established as him and just that brand backing you, knowing that he's as far along as he is? I mean, that's got to be a good feeling, knowing you're still on that grind, getting to your ultimate goals.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the amount of knowledge Tyson has, and just Rob and Calvin having that caliber of people own basically the same brand as they're repping the same Top Game management. It just it's like a fire, you know what I mean? Because to me, I have to live up to what they are providing me. So I'm representing them. So it kind of just makes a bigger fire when I'm in the gym, or trying to stand out more on because we have like Top Game management. Like who do Rob Font and Calvin Cater. So those are big names you gotta live by. And I want to be, when they say Top Game management, they'll be like, hey, Rob Font, Calvin Cater, Justin Sumter. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a big feather in my cap, just to be part of the team.
Font's gonna walk through Cheeto Vera, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I was thinking, man. Everyone's talking about this is such a great matchup. I kind of feel like Rob finishes him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just got that slick style. Cheeto, he's a great fighter, but I just think style wise, it's kind of a bad matchup for him. I think all the way around, I see Rob just kind of taking the upper hand in every situation. So.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Talk about your camp, like who've been like your main training partners. Obviously, I imagine you're still right there at FAA. Who have you had around you for this camp?
Just man, we got some real young killers coming up the ranks. We got a couple guys named one Quentin, and then we got this guy named Paul. Just some bigger guys that I've been working with, and you know, they're definitely they're kind of green, but you know, they have the tenacity and the will to improve, and you know, that just helps me in my camp. Also, I've been working with some guys at Champ Boxing and Danbury. Just working on my stand-up, my boxing game, because I feel I have decent striking, but getting my feet underneath me and getting those combinations, and you know, because I want to be as slick as Rob, and so I got to go to a boxing gym and kind of, you know, work on that, and I feel like my game has drastically improved just by, you know, the short time, you know, the couple months I've been training there.
I love hearing that. Let's talk about your opponent, Eric Spicely. He's 12-8, but he is on a 4-fight losing streak. Granted, he's been fighting, you know, high-level fighters, but when you look at him right now, where he's at in his career, how do you feel this matchup shakes out for you?
I feel it shakes out well. You know what I mean? There's no doubt that he's still a hungry fighter, and this is a big opportunity for him to come in there. And if he gets the belt, he you know, man, that kind of keeps him at the level where he wants to be. But you know, I think it's just a great matchup for me. His style and my style kind of they mesh well, where, you know, I can keep the pressure on him and you know, put him on his back foot, and you know, he has an awesome ground game. I have a decent ground game too, so you know, not too worried about that. But you know, it's just his style and my style. I think it matches up very well with what my attributes are and what I bring to the table.
And, you know, regionally, this is a monster fight. You know, obviously CES is a huge promotion, so winning this belt is a big deal. How big of a deal is it to you? Like, what does a win beating Spicely, getting this belt, mean to you personally?
You know, I mean, it just, you know, checks one of those marks off my goals. You know, one of my goals is to be a world champion, and this is just, you know, a step in that right direction. I get that belt underneath me, with the prestige of fighting for CES title is, you know, like, as you know, like, hey, if you win a CES title, you know, the likelihood of you stepping up is drastically improved. And so, you know, I just want to show the people on the world stage that, hey, I belong there, and this is a game opponent, and you know, just go out there and prove to the world what I already know.
How does it end? What's your prediction?
You know, I mean, I say, you know, picking the pressure up on him and having him crumble, you know, within the third or fourth round. My stamina is good. My boxing is good. I think just the pressure is going to ultimately win the fight for me.
All right, man. I wish I could be there. I'm saving my PTO time up because I'm taking the wife to Mexico here shortly. Okay. So, you know, that's kind of where my priorities lie, to keep her happy. But I got to get down to these CES cards because they're just getting better and better. Can't wait for this one. Justin Sumter, Eric Spicely for the 185-pound title, April the 1st. Main event, CES 67. Justin, it's always great to talk to you, man. Before I let you go, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
People can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Fort Sumter MMA. On Facebook, they can follow me at Justin the Fort Sumter. And I really want to thank my sponsors, Prime Energy, Active Health. We got Remax Real Estate Company. Who else? We got In Rust We Trust. Always thank Top Game Management, Fighting Arts Academy, and you know, all the other people that have supported me and, you know, helped me on this journey. I have a shirt out with all my sponsors on there, so you guys can check that out on my Instagram or Twitter. You can purchase one before the fight so you can have it. But thank you, Ryan, for having me, and you know, see you April 1st.